Hi everyone, welcome to the third part of the series Prompt Engineering. So in our previous sessions we have learned what prompt engineering is and how we can use prompt engineering to guide ChatGPT towards generating the desired responses. We have also seen the different types of techniques like I want you to act as prompting, short prompting, zero shot, chain of thought and so on. Additionally, we have seen how to apply techniques like tabular format, ask before answer and so on. Now let us see what we have in this part 3 of the series. By end of this session, you will be able to understand more prompt engineering techniques like comparative prompting, reverse, elaboration, prediction, evaluation, cause and effect prompting, reflection prompting, hypothetical, decision making, and creativity prompting. So let's start with the first one, which is comparative prompting. Comparative prompting in ChatGPT involves providing a prompt that asks the model to compare and contrast two or more entities or concepts. The goal is to generate a response that highlights similarities and differences between the entities or the concepts and to provide insights or explanations based on those comparisons. So as you can see, some of the example prompts are provided on the screen. The first one is, how does the experience of watching a movie in the cinema compare to watching it at home? Second one, in what ways is the cuisine of Italy different from that of France? And the last one, how does the teaching style of online courses compare to that of in-person classes? You can see a sense of comparison in all the example prompts. Now let us execute these examples in ChatGPT. So let us type the first one. How does the experience of watching a movie in the cinema compare to watching it at home? And now let's press enter. So as you can see, it has given us the differences between watching a movie in the cinema and watching it at home, and the most notable ones are screen size, sound quality, environment and so on. Now let us try for the next example prompt. In what ways is the cuisine of Italy from that of France? And just press enter. Okay, so if you go through the responses, you will find that ChatGPT involves generating responses that compare and contrast things or ideas or the concepts. So it uses some comparative words to generate the answers, as you can see here, the differences in ingredients. Italian cuisine often emphasizes the use of tomatoes, garlic and olive oil, while French cuisine relies more on butter, cream and wine. You can see the use of while word here. Then we have in contrast and so on. Now let us test the last one for this example. How does the teaching style of online courses compare to that of in-person classes? And just press enter. So again, if you look at the response, you can see the differences between online and in-person classes are listed very beautifully. You can read the response. So now we have seen how comparative prompting in ChatGPT involves generating responses that compares and contrasts two or more things, ideas or the concepts. The prompts usually contain comparative words such as better than, more effective, less than, similar to, and so on. These prompts can be used to help people make informed decisions, understand complex concepts, or simply provide interesting insights. Now let's look at another prompt engineering technique, which is reverse prompting. Reverse prompting in ChatGPT is a technique where instead of the user providing a prompt, the model provides a prompt for the user to respond to. In other words, the model takes on the role of a questionnaire and prompts the user to answer a specific question or provide a specific piece of information. This approach can be useful in encouraging users to think deeply and creatively about a given topic or a problem. So again, on the right side you can see two examples. The first one is, tell me a question that you think I might ask you. Another intelligent example prompt is, act as a role of interviewer and question me on financial market. So let us go to the ChatGPT and type these examples and let's see the responses. So let's type the first one. Tell me a question that you think I might ask you, and press enter. So you can see how it has responded to this question. It has given us, you might ask me about the recent topics or the common topics which people often ask about. Okay, now let's try another example prompt. Act as a role of interviewer and question me on financial market. So you can see it has given me 10 questions which can be asked by an interviewer on the financial market. So you can read all these questions. Now let's go back to the slide and see another type of prompt engineering techniques which we can use very well in ChatGPT, like elaboration, prediction, evaluation, cause and effect, and so on. So let's start with the elaboration prompting. The elaborative or elaboration prompt is a type of prompt in ChatGPT that encourages the model to provide more detailed and informative responses. So some of the examples you can see on the screen. The first one is, could you provide me an example to support your answer? Second example prompt can be, could you elaborate on the benefits of meditation for mental health? Now let us see another type of prompting, that is prediction prompting. A prediction prompt in ChatGPT is a type of prompting that asks the model to generate a prediction or estimate about a future event or outcome based on given information or the context. So take an example of, consider a scenario where I am running in a 10 miles marathon. What do you think will happen next in this scenario? So we are asking the ChatGPT to predict the output. Second example is, what will be the next major trend in fashion? So these are some of the examples for prediction prompting. You can try those on your own. Now let's discuss evaluation prompting. Don't mix up the evaluation prompt with the elaborative prompt, as they both sound very similar. Evaluation promptings are designed to seek an opinion or judgment on a particular topic or situation. For example, consider the topic on social media marketing. What is your opinion on this topic? So now let's move to the next one, that is cause and effect prompting. It is a type of prompting where the model is given a scenario and asked to identify the relationship between the cause and effect. This type of prompt is useful for tasks like predicting outcomes or understanding the reasons behind certain events or actions. The model is asked to identify the cause and effect relationships between two or more variables and provide an explanation for the relationship. For example, consider this cause and effect scenario. Say, after a week of eating junk food and not exercising, John started feeling tired and sluggish. The prompt can be: what is the cause and effect relationship between John's unhealthy habits and his feeling of tiredness? So, this model would be expected to identify the relationship between John's unhealthy habits, which is the cause, and his feeling of tiredness, which is the effect, and explain the connection between the two. Now, let us see another type of prompt engineering technique, which is reflection prompting. It is a type of prompting that encourages the user to think deeply about a topic and reflect on their personal experiences or beliefs related to that topic. The purpose of reflection prompt is to help the user gain insights, identify the patterns, and connect with their emotions or values. Reflection prompting can be used in a variety of contexts, such as therapy, coaching, or self improvement. They often provide open ended questions that encourage introspection and self awareness. So, some of the examples are given. What did you learn from this experience? The second example can be: what could you have done differently to achieve a better outcome? So, these are some simple examples of reflection prompting that we can test using ChatGPT. Now, let us move forward with the next type of prompting, which is hypothetical prompting. It involves asking the user to imagine a scenario or a situation and then provide a response based on that hypothetical situation. It encourages creative thinking and allows the user to explore different perspectives or possibilities. So, for example, I have hypothetical prompt could be: what would you do if you won the lottery tomorrow? Or how do you think the world would be different if everyone spoke the same language? And in these prompts, the user is asked to imagine a scenario that is not currently happening and provide a response based on that scenario. So, they are used to stimulate imagination and encourage the users to think about potential outcome or solutions to the problems. So, more examples are given on the screen. What would be the impact of discovering intelligent life on another planet? Second example prompt is: what would be the consequences of a world without the internet? And you can try these examples using ChatGPT. Now let's discuss another type of prompting, which is decision making prompting. A decision making prompting is a type of prompt that asks the user to make a choice or a decision among a set of opinions. It is designed to help the user think critically and consider the pros and cons of each option before making a decision. The AI model can then provide feedback or additional information based on the user's choice. For example, a decision making prompt can be: what is the best way to spend your free time this weekend? Option A: go to a movie theater. Option B: go hiking. Option C: spend time with friends. Choose the option that you think is best and explain why. So, the user's response can help them clarify their values and priorities, and the AI model can provide additional insights and suggestions based on the user's decision. Now, for the final prompting technique, let's move to the next slide, which is creativity prompting. It refers to the type of prompt that encourages the generation of unique and original ideas, concepts, or solutions to a given problem or a question. It aims to foster the creative thinking process and help the individuals come up with innovative and imaginative ideas. These prompts may involve brainstorming, idea generation, or imaginative scenarios that prompt users to think outside the box and come up with a creative solution to a problem. So, example prompts are: imagine you have a superpower that can solve any global problem. What would you do with it? Another example prompt is: Describe a new invention that could change the world. And the last one, create a new product that solves a common problem in a unique way. So this was all about creativity prompting. And with this, let's move to the next slide, which is our questionnaire round. And the first one is, which of the following are not examples of prompt engineering techniques? And the correct answer is option B, straight prompting. Second question, which of the following prompt engineering techniques encourages creative thinking? And the correct answer is option C and D, creativity and hypothetical prompting, as we have just discussed. Now let's have a quick recap of what we have covered in this session. We started with the understanding of prompt engineering techniques. We also looked at major techniques like comparative prompting, reverse prompting, evaluation, prediction, elaboration, cause and effect prompting, reflection prompting, hypothetical and decision making prompting, and so on. So that was all for this prompt engineering series. Thank you.